Have you noticed that change is hard and learning can eventually piss you off? Let's get into it. When you're trying to move forward in life, there's two sides to the coin that most people never see. On one side, you're learning, on the other side, you're changing. And those are not the same thing. Most people want change. Most people think they want change. But what they really are looking for is information. Because the mind is interested in learning and the body is interested in staying the same. So let's talk about the mind. That's why we read so many books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, and still find ourselves doing the same thing over and over again. Because learning and changing are two different processes. And something else happens. Let's say you get around someone who's constantly teaching. Maybe you're in school, college, maybe it's your parents, and they're teaching nonstop. Eventually, your system gets overwhelmed. And it's not because the information is bad. It's usable. It's because your body can only absorb so much at a time before it starts defending itself. And if you're lucky, you find a parent or a teacher or a mentor or a coach that understands that before you even get started. Someone who knows when to push and when to lay off. I used to have a gym in another lifetime that when my clients would come in, I would tell their mind to mind its business. That's my line, don't steal it. But yes, tell your mind to mind its business, especially when you're trying to learn something. Because I could see them walking into the gym, dragging their behind, right? Because they wake up, they're feeling groggy, they know they're gonna have to do physical work, and they're judging that before they even got to the gym. I knew it as soon as they were walking to the door to pull the door open. It actually started when I was a manager for a restaurant, where I used to tell people to leave your problems outside so that we can focus on what we need to get done today. So you need a coach like that. You need someone that understands that learning needs spacing. Growth needs space to digest and put to practice, space to become. And if you're not lucky while you're practicing, you happen to find the coach that responds to resistance by pushing harder, by yelling louder. The boss, the coach, the teacher, the parent. The moment your system says, I need a break, they start yelling louder. And sometimes it works. I mean, it does work in a way if you allow it. But they're trying to shove their lesson into you. And that's, to me, where things get interesting. It's what made me look up why the mind and the body does what it does. Because once that happens, you're getting hit by two sides. The pressure on the inside meets the pressure on the outside, the nervous system will kick in. It'll start to pull up through the nervous system, through your feelings. Your brain will start to pull up, oh, I know those feelings. And it will start to recall the first time you ever felt those feelings. An old memory, an old emotion, an old relationship, some sort of old experience, and then the old pattern comes after that. And a lot of times we actually think that's because we're tired, lazy, out of shape, not keeping pace. So don't judge yourself too much. So the nervous system looks for old familiar references. It sends the signal to the brain. They come and attack you from the inside. And this is why I'm telling you this, is because once you learn how to govern yourself through any kind of hectic situation, you can stop the resistance that's emotional. You could do something like take a deep breath, and sometimes you do. You're like, or you're just frustrated, and you say, I'm frustrated. You're using it wrong. Take the deep breath and calm it down, blow it out intentionally to interrupt. Instinctively, we know to take a deep breath and kind of like, or scream, right? These are things of letting something out. Those are interrupters. This happens to teachers, coaches, everyone. And you would think that most mentors know when to walk away, take a break. And so you should learn how to take your step back from being overloaded so that you can reset. Don't do it to quit, do it to reset. Because once you reset, that becomes your practice, which will become your identity. It really helps to balance that out. So getting back to digesting, you have to learn when you've learned enough for digestion purposes so that you can practice. So teach yourself to digest the lessons you got coming in. Give yourself enough time for it. This way, when you go to replace what you've learn or use what you've learned, you get to make a choice. Am I going to supplant this, replace it, become it, practice it? And that's your new identity. It changes every time you move forward. But sometimes you may have to sit with what you've learned to really dive deep. And when you do that, you'll finally start to understand that instead of resisting it and fighting it, you get to put it to practice because you're in a different headspace. Nervous system is in a different place. So if you practice it and repeat it, you will find a way to start to live it. And that's the best proof you need. Putting things to action, not just learning it. That's why learning is safe and the mind says, yeah, let's learn. Let's just let's not do anything. Let's just learn. Change is a threat in your brain. It's like, no thanks. Next, please. So if you get to practicing it, eventually it becomes who you are. You start to live it, experience new things from it. It starts to get rooted. Even though it's getting rooted, information doesn't change anything. Remember, it's two sides of that coin. Only practice creates change. And you can have someone pushing you like a coach. You create the practice that creates pressure. You stop when you have to and digest it. And then you do it again and again, over and over again. Only practice changes. And I think everyone has done this. How many times have you learned something and before it became who you are, you're sharing it? You ever notice when you don't practice it, when you don't really know it, people don't connect with you? That's a whole nother video. However, if you find yourself doing that, learning something and sharing it immediately, it's because it's fun. It is fun to learn. It's a dopamine rush. And the brain is real tricky. The brain is going to accept what you've learned immediately. As long as you don't try to change anything. It'll accept it. It's safe. But if you try to change something, it's a threat, dude. It's like, no. What? So know your limits. They're not forever. They're not set in stone. You are in control. Learn to listen to the nervous system as a heads up, because that's the resistance of you saying that you're going to change something. Learn to take in what you've learned and digest it. Bite-sized pieces. Maybe not 5 hours of one thing. Maybe just 2. Maybe 1 hour. Take it in, digest it, think about it, see how you can utilize it, start putting it to practice in the smallest, easiest ways. Taking what you learned, supplanting it, replace it with something that's not serving you any longer. And that's what I talk about in all the videos that I have, both on Instagram and YouTube. Supplant, replace. Supplant, replace. I don't know if I could get in trouble with that one. I mean, learning is fun, but change is where it's at. Learning is expansive, and we all know the more you learn and put to practice, the more you get real things done. Here at A Day in Your Life channel, we're really into helping you put this together. Take control over your mind, your body, your spirit, by understanding your brain, your nervous system, and listening for what your spirit wants. It's directing you. It's constantly talking to you. That's a whole nother video also. I believe if you simply understand how the brain works, how change can happen, take the baby steps that allow change to happen, not fight yourself, which you can. You've probably been doing it for years, decades. And if you listen to any of my Instagram reels, 100% you've heard all the little changes in the baby steps that you can do. And I always say you can do them today, because what becomes familiar is easy to practice and utilize. And the reason you're searching is because you're being driven by something calling you on the inside. Your spirit is calling. Let's go, next step. You can do it, and you can. Let's go over it again. You can practice, which will become familiar, which will allow you to supplant an old pattern for a new one. And when can we start practicing change? We can practice change today.